Hello, everybody. So today's topic, love, relationship, sex, little bit about what to do with Tantra. Yes, this topic is not my idea. This topic everybody's confusion. So that part. So hopefully this talk clears many of the confusion. Okay. So let's first we try to talk about love. What is love? Because this is important to talk about, because love is something profound and extensive, but people usually take as simple. So then we have many conflict around love, right? So I would say, if we explain it in a short way, what is love? Love is about unity. So I would say is unity. The reality of the love is unity, but people not necessarily take that way, and not necessarily feel that way. Then, of course, it is obvious there's many different types of love. We have to understand and why those different types of love arises. So if we understand this more clear, then we have a less confusion about love, and hopefully have less problems with love. Instead, have more beneficial. Okay. I would say today, love is unity, and a relationship means also unity. Sex means also unity. The confusions and problems arise with these things because we have limit understand those conditions, what cause and conditions made them. And then, therefore, we have wrong expectations. So therefore, we have problems. So today we try to understand what conditions we not pay attention and we not really understand it. So firstly, say love. Usually love people see is something attraction. But the reality, more profound level, the love is not just attraction. Attraction and radiation, both two things. Attraction and radiation. Attraction means we know that small sub-particle level, the positive charge, negative charge, they have attraction each other. And also the biggest level, we know the solar system and all the stars not fell because there is attraction, and between this, so that kind of doesn't matter that is the most update science or not, but I am just giving example. So attraction between two things similar of those, and then radiation means let's say sun not just I have attraction with the all other solar system, the systems, but there's a radiation for all we survive, and we have the light to see, and we can survive because sun's radiation. So these two things main important, and then if you these two things is millions conditions made up this. If we all understand, that means we understand the love are perfect. So if we understand the love is perfect, then is only beneficial. Why? Because that is a rare unity. Real unity has rather only a beneficial, nothing's harmful. So that means, in other words, we can say, if we understand fully the love, and if we know how to operate the love fully, then is only great happiness and great blissful, and to get eradicated the opposite, the obstacles and harmfuls. Okay, first we have to understand love means like that. Then we have to understand the different types of love humans can operate. For instance, the parents, especially mother, love the child, have more conditions of radiation. So that's why mothers' love to the children mostly are given, radiating, give the love, give the nurturing. So that's why I'm not saying 100%, but a big portion of that is the mother's love to the child. I'm not talking about every individual, but I'm talking about in general. Okay, so that shows, that indicates naturally true love has more given nature, radiation, warmth, a given nature. But the normal problems with love, other people, such as romantic love, temporarily are powerful and nice feeling. Why? Also, we can understand why the romantic love is more powerful than between your brother and sister's love. Why? Because love is not something simple. It is extensive and profound. And usually human beings only know how to operate very little percentage. And then romantic love have more strong, powerful connection because you go more deeper than your brother and sister. Why go deeper? Because that shows there is something more profound than your DNA. Because your brother or sister and you shared DNA. very similar, right? And you have the, with romantic person, you're not sharing that as much as sharing genetic, your same parents, your brother, sister. So that means love is something more than physical, something more than a subtle physics. So the scientists can understand, science can understand, it's go beyond that. So that's why you have a more powerful love between two. However, not always last long, not always last long. Why? Because again, there is millions of conditions, and only connected are limited conditions. So therefore, run out with the time. But if you connect it in every level of condition, cause and conditions, then no possible running out. So that's why some romantics last 2 years, some 3 years, 4 or 5, whatever, some only few months. That shows the love dependent on millions of conditions gathered together, and then your love is how profound and how last long is dependent on all these conditions. Therefore, the degree of condition, how many, then last that much long and that much connection. So we can say that much unity. The unity is how strong is dependent, how strong and how profound, dependent how many conditions matched, how many conditions connected. Let's say 1 million each other connected, or one is million connected, but the other one only connecting 500,000. So these complicate conflict situations nobody can calculate. We can only understand rough idea. What I'm saying like that is truth, logic, and some experiences, some spiritual experiences can understand it be more. So that means spiritually you can understand the love, how profound and how broad how extensive, we can understand a little bit more. But without spirituality, you only connecting on the surface level. So therefore, when we come to this relationship, again as unity, your business partner or your clans relationship and business partners relationship, or only customer relationship and business partner relationship and family relationship and or couple relationship and the spiritual teacher and student relationship, they're all not same. That's we have to understand. Of course, you guys understand other than the spiritual teachers and student relationship. Other than that, of course, everybody should understand they are very different. So obvious. But what we try to understand in today is these relationships is conflicts, should be conflicts or should not be conflicts, right? That's we have to talking about. So when we talking about this, when we talking about the Dharma in general, especially Tibetan Buddhism, Vajrayana Buddhism, then I think many people had confusion. So we try to make that clear today. So I try, hopefully we make clear. I think maybe the one reason people confuse, because it's not something you born with. It's not like something your culture and something you deal with every day since from childhood. Is not that. So therefore, it's not in our familiarization. That's definitely one thing. Second, especially Western world, or I can say developed countries, material developed countries, peoples, the country level or the city level, the regional level, or the people individual life, everything you try to be perfect, right? In modern time. Why you had that habit? Because firstly, in 20th century and 21st century developed science and we achieved incredible things. So that makes people think, oh, we can do everything perfect. And especially developed countries, they think we can do everything perfect. Maybe not everybody thinking we can do everything perfect, but the society not accepting. So then everybody try everything perfect. So the material level, we have to say, we achieved quite perfect. Material level only. So you get used like this. You have habit on that. But then, okay, Buddhism, Buddha Dharma, come to the more something foreign religion, or you can say religion or philosophy or whatever you can say. They come, then you're interested to learn, but then you have many confusions. Why? Because the Dharma talk extraordinary things. And then you think, oh, I have to achieve all of this. But then you have a big problem with a small portion of the Dharma. And then you grab that one. You can't move anywhere because you get used to everything done perfectly, all material things. But this one, or even your study, but this one is too profound. Too profound means is too extensive, is limitless. So then you try to match with your life and everything, and try to match with your perfection, your society perfection, and your individual's perfection, neurosis. You cannot match. I think that's why you're confused. And have difficulty. So now I have give you very easy, simple method. You have to just remember. I say, first, Dharma is a limitless. Dharma talking about limitless potential. Especially they're talking about maximum. Most of subject talking about maximum. But for you is not just talk the maximum and leave them. You don't have that habit. You have habit, oh, this one, okay, I do this. First step, do this. Second step, do this. Third step, I achieved. Then fourth step, I'm going to do. Then achieve it, finish it. Fifth, you have that habit. But Dharma does not work that way. Why? Because even as the first step is limitless. First step is a limitless. First step is limitless, yes, because, for instance, when we practice Dharma from the beginning, we say, I will reach Buddhahood to liberate for all sentient beings. This is every beginner of Dharma. You have to motivate about that. Can you do that in a few years? Liberate all sentient beings? Can you do it that in 100 years, 1,000 years, million years, or million eons? It's not. The most important, you just only building a courage in your heart. Something is usually people not think about. Not even 1% of the population are 7 billion from the 7 billion. You try to build in this courage in your heart. That is the most important. So you can't do stressed, oh, I can't do this in 10 years or 100 years, or before I die, I can't liberate everybody. The Buddhism not saying you have to do this before you die. It's saying, can you make the courage in your heart already limitless? Why? The all sentient being means limitless. See? But people very, very stressed. Oh, I can't do this. I can't do this, such and such. So that means, in my point of view, you thought everything you can do it. If not, then it's black. If it's white, you have to do everything. It's not black and white, only not one. No zero or everything is not that. Even you get course, 1 week course, somebody teach you how to you become multi-billionaires, or somebody teach you 1 week course how you become the most powerful political leader in the world. You wouldn't expect you become those things in 1 month, do you? I don't think anybody. But what Dharma is talking about, liberated sentient being, you have limitless love and compassion in your heart. These things are trillions of times bigger than become a multi-billionaires or the most powerful man in this world is much more than that. So I think I would say the most important when you teach Dharma, receive empowerment or anything, you not stress about anything about these things. Oh, this I can't do it. Or I better to not initiate it. Or I better to not promise this. Oh, because I can't do this, I can't. I would say no stress. I think many of teachers probably told you, it seems like, appears, you have to do this, otherwise you cannot do this. If you promise this, then you have to do this, otherwise you cannot. I say, no. You motivate a maximum. You lose nothing, never lose nothing, you just motivate. You motivate limitless, you lose nothing, but you build encourage and strength in your heart. That is the most important. Not about physically, emotionally, whatever. You can do this, you can't do this. Intellectually, it's not about that. You have to make a habit how I can do the best in my limit. So you have continue, improve. Okay, so that means when you come to the love, our relationship, sex, everything you do, try at the best with your limitation. Your best means invest your motivation. Motivation, you don't have to maybe limit it. Motivation means your wish. Your wish, maybe you don't have to limit it. But if you do, okay, you do limited best, the best in your limited. That means, let's say, first say relationship. Whatever relationship you build in, I would say no expectation. Please, no build any expectation. Why? Because all our types of relationship in this world, they have ideas, limited ideas. Based on that limited idea, they set up rules and regulations. The rules and regulations, or this should it do, should not do, this should do, this should be this way, not should be this way. All of them, let's say husband and wife, what the husband is the rule, what is the wife's rule, what they should do this, what they shouldn't do this. All of them built from the limited idea, Limit means no understanding the profundity of the relationship, not understanding the profundity of the love, not understanding the profundity of the union, only some ideas. These ideas, society expects that way. So you are chained, you are chained inside that society, the expectation. All these expectations made rules and regulations. Then they say, oh, this is good, this is bad. Bad husband, good husband. Bad wife, good wife. That's the problem. Because the expectations come from limit understanding. The rules come from limit understanding. So, okay, maybe your question, say, okay, we all have limitation. Then what we can do the best within the limitation? I say, try very hard, no any expectation. What your relationship becomes. Instead, you appreciate very much what you already had. That means even you met today, you have good day, you just appreciate that. And if you have 1 month in the relationship going well, you should really appreciate that. A same thing, been 1 year, 10 years, whatever, you should really appreciate that. Why? Because everything are born as impermanent. That is fact. It's not just Buddhist idea. It's not just science discovered. We all know. We all know means if we all think carefully, everybody should know. But we just no habit to think about that way. So try to understand the impermanent. So even is impermanent, I still been a relationship with 1 year. Oh, this is wonderful. I'm so appreciate. Even you have not very good relationship, but there's some degree of good, you appreciate that. I'm talking about even your parents-child relationship, couples relationship, whatever, friends, just friends, or anything, any type of relationship I'm talking about. You just have gratitude, an incredible appreciation. We had this much long relationship, even is impermanent. If you do that, then your relationship should be meaningful. Firstly, meaningful, regardless how long, regardless how degree are good, it's still meaningful. Don't think about maximum meaningful, okay? Never expect. But it is meaningful. So then even your relationship, you have to change, transition, but you still have flexibility. Why? Because you understand everything is permanent, everything is a condition, and then you have gratitude, what you had before. So then becomes meaningful. Otherwise, you become incredibly selfish. So that means when you don't have this certain relationship, what used to you have, then you don't want to see this person anymore. You don't want to hear this person anymore. You cannot do any other share a little bit different relationship even anymore. You become like that. That means it's terrible, terrible. That is misery. Why is misery? Because you is extremely selfish. That's why. Because you extremely selfish, you want exactly what you want to wear. Otherwise, you can't even look at, you can't even see it. So that is, should not create like that way. If you have grateful for what you had already, and then is meaningful. Then is even not the same level of relationship, still meaningful. So please think this way. Okay, let's say the love also the same. You used to have romantic, no anymore. But still, can you have other types of love? That means you connect a different level as before, but now you can't connect that anymore, run over the condition. But can you connect the other way? If yes, that means you are capable. But no, if one connection is finished, then everything is finished. Then you are extremely limited. You're extremely limited because you only believe that way. You don't see any other angle. You only see one angle. That's why. If we do this way, doesn't matter any kind of relationship, still you have connection. Doesn't matter how many different sentient beings, still you have connection for everyone. Connection, as long as you have connection, you have that much unity. Unity means only brings benefit, no harm. Remember? That's why love level, relationship level, sex level, everything same. if you can operate sex only at physical level, and then these physical conditions run out, then you don't have any more. But if you have something more than that, then you have that level. Even if you don't have that level, emotional level, not anymore, physical level, not anymore, what else you could have? So when we talking about Tantra, unfortunately, seems like modern people think only sex, physical sex. But the reality is, Tantra means you know how to connect in many ways. That means you know how to have union in many ways. Okay? So that's why in the Tantra said, consort. Consort means usually people interpreted male dominate female. Female is a sex object for the males. That is a misunderstanding. Why we have that misunderstanding? Because our society been like that way. So then sometimes even the Tantra, you have to explain that way. But reality is, consort means, if you look at the Kalachakra Tantra deities, some of them, the male figure is the main, and then female consort, and then many of others are female is the main deity, and then you have male consort. Okay? So that means Tantra saying consort means if you are female, the male is your consort. If you are the male, and then the female is your consort. But male and the female is not only a gender level. Gender level is one, and you have to think many other levels. Physical human being have human being consort, that's only one type, and there are many others, which means the most basic level, when we visualize it, your consort. Visualization level, a generation level. What's the different visualization? Visualization means almost imagine. Imagine level, you have that much benefit, that degree of benefits. And then generation means your imagination is almost become real, physical. When you mastery of generation means your same, equal, or even more can experience as like more than physical experience. And then certain type of practice, you have consult, you can have consult other beings, not just human being. That depends who you are and where you at. That means if you are female, let's say by yourself in the cave, or you have some journey, you scared, you wish I have a male companion. Then maybe somebody appeared, could look like human, you thought is human, and becomes your companion. Most of the time, only served your purpose of journey or dangerous place, or sometimes you scared of emotionally, they helped and maybe disappear. Sometimes a different form. The same thing, a male practitioner in the cave, he has lack of femininity, and then some females maybe appear and help him. Anything can happen. Sometimes you recognize it. Sometimes you thought just human being can help him about me. So many ways, many things possible. So many levels you can connect, and you can have many different ways of union. That is about Tantra. That is about we call consort. So unfortunately, the modern take everything physical, everything right now. This is black and white. So that's why we don't have a flexible mind. So if we have some flexible mind, then is no problem. Oh, it's already 11. I didn't know that much it took. So I stop here soon. So you prepare the questions so then I can answer any confusions you have. Okay.
Okay. If you'd like to take a moment to write your questions for Rinpoche in the Q&A or on Facebook in your own language, then we can ask them on your behalf. This is a really good time to ask any of your questions regarding this subject so that Rinpoche can help clear them up. While we wait, Rinpoche, I'll start with one question that comes in often.
Yeah.
probably one of the most emailed in questions or asked personally by people. A lot of Dharma students in the West, especially, come to Buddhism or Vajrayana by themselves individually. So their partner or girlfriend, boyfriend, or husband, wife is usually not a Dharma practitioner. And so sometimes they feel like they face challenges in how to see that relationship. They go from wondering if they should see their husband or wife as like Kalachakra, Vishvamata, or to another extreme of wondering if they should get divorced because they feel like they no longer have anything in common because their spiritual journey is different. So can you give some advice on how people can see this challenge?
So as I said, the best way, we have no expectations, the relationship. And we, from the beginning, we should have understand or the awareness of everything be impermanent. So that does not mean when you are married and you promising, oh, we stay forever. You can still say that, and you still can do that with awareness of the impermanence. So that means you are aware everything impermanent, more likely can change anything. But therefore, I have no expectation, but I can still wish, yes, I can stay with you very long and I fulfill your wishes as possible, you know? And then when you come to, you interested in practice Dharma, especially you practice, interest in practice Tantra, and then your husband or wife, no interest at all, I wouldn't say this is fortunate. Why? Because not, this is definitely not as makes the easiest relationship. I agree that. However, it's still you can keep the relationship. You don't have to divorce or anything whatsoever. Why? I tell you, because firstly, you going to be you going to be good practitioner or not is shows your action, shows your behavior. Even your partner not understand it from the beginner, but when you are, if long enough, you are improved good enough, your emotions and your behavior, everything becomes much more better than before. He or she will interested because he see the improvement. So that's why it's no longer conflict. Instead, he or she follow you, not you have to follow them. That could be the best scenario. This is possible. Okay? If not that good enough, and you always have conflict between you guys, then you try to take all the conflicts as your practice to develop your strength, such as patience, tolerance, forgiveness, many things. Or no matter how much you forgive or tolerate, if your partner becomes worse and worse, then maybe you have some strength or confidence. For me, not really important, this samsara relationship. I can separate any time because everything is impermanent anyway. I did everything best, but he or she never improve and always do only obstacle. And the Dharma is a profound to benefits and no more life and death and next life. But this relationship is only just this level, right? So then you maybe develop some confidence. What are you going to do? Okay. So that does not mean you should divorce. Not saying that. You should separate. Not saying that. But if you become flexible enough to anyway be separate or not separate, some flexibility and some confidence, then makes it easier in either way. Either way means you don't have to divorce because Dharma practice is you try best within your limitation. Remember? You're not doing 100%. Nobody can do 100% anyway. You can motivate in 100%. You can have courage in 100%. But physically and practically, nobody can do 100%. So then it doesn't matter. The worst scenario. Is that make any clear? Or
Yes,
not really?
well, if it doesn't, then you can add any further comments or questions related to that. But I think that gave a few angles for people with different types of relationships. Continuing on that, we now have a question about celibacy. This person's asking if it's a benefit to be celibate on the Vajrayana path, or is this just an unnecessary dilemma? Because what do we do if we still have strong desire? Should we completely abandon this and be celibate? Is that an advantage or not?
Okay. So this is a very big topic. Okay. I try my best and very clear and short, but I can't guarantee. Why? Because this is, I feel people not resolved the issues in many centuries. So if I think we can resolve all these issues tonight, it's a little bit too pride, but I can try. Maybe overconfidence, but it's a try. As far as I understanding, What the Tantra means, especially highest yoga Tantra means, is not about abandoning your emotions. Even we usually call negative emotions like 5, let's say desire, attachment, aversion, anger, jealous, pride, all of them. Usually we call Sutayana, we call 5 poisons. In Tantrayana, is you meant to be not abandoned. So Sutayana way, you have to abandon, you have to get rid of them. They are bad and poisons, 5 poisons. But in Tantrayana, you not abandon. Okay, not abandon means, then what you have to do? You make them a path, as a path. Not you have to get rid of like poison. Okay, then how can I use as a path? If you have a dangerous tool, nuclear weapon, one way you can just get rid of, you throw away very, very far away, something no reach you, that is Sutayana way. But the Tantrayana way is you learn how to use nuclear weapon, not danger for yourself. So that is the highest yoga Tantra, such as Kalachakra. Okay? So the Sutayana idea of have to be celibacy is abandoning sexual desire. But sexual desire is not go away. You just make rules and try to encourage you to not have it, this desire. That doesn't go away. So extremely not easy one. But everybody have to pretend, oh, I have no desire. But the Vajrayana, you don't have to pretend. You can do within your limitation. You need to learn how I use as beneficial. But beneficial is not black and white. It is a limitless degrees. So that's why you try to use as your limitation. You try best in your limitation. So that's why before say, oh, should I, if I'm practitioner Kalachakra, my partner is no interest in zero, so I still should think of, oh, he's Kalachakra or she's Vishwamata. Should I think that? Yes, you can think, no problem. Even he looks like not, but still you can think Why? Because mind is whatever mind thinks as works. Not saying 100% work, okay, yet, but gradually is works as some degree. And gradually 100% works. Also the option, you don't have to think, oh, Kalachara deity or anything, but instead, can you appreciate in many ways? Can you, how to say, appreciate a more than non-practitioner, a little bit more than non-practitioner? Not just sex, but every aspect of the masculine quality. If it's your husband, if it's your wife, can you more appreciate every single aspect of her femininity, something you don't have it? If you do, that is you trying best in your limitation, which means great, much better than zero. So like that. So that means if you want to practice Tantra, you don't have to give up anything. Instead, you learn how to use better. If you practice in Sutrayana, then yes, you try very hard to abandon. That's it.
Okay, the next question's almost reversed, and you maybe already answered it a little bit in what you said. So this person's saying, I practice Dharma so much, I have no more desire at all for sex. So now what do I do with my husband or wife? Do I have to still have sex with them out of compassion?
No, you don't have to do anything. Anything you cannot do, but you have to is a burden, right? So burden is, Dharma is not for burden, right? Dharma is liberation. You have to remember Dharma is liberation. Liberation, okay, you have no desire anymore. That means you have no conflicts of the around the desire, because so many conflicts in this world around the desire. So you don't have any more that, okay? You take that as an advantage, instead a burden.
Okay.
You can appreciate much more your wife and the aspect of femininity. I'm sure there's appreciate many things you can appreciate her as a partner.
So earlier, Rinpoche, you were talking about, here we go back to the maximum. You were talking about having no expectations as a couple. So this question is how to harmonize the impermanence in planning that is inherent in a modern day relationship, like that people have to have, they have expectations in planning in the relationship. So how do you have no expectations when this sort of like planning is part of modern relationships?
Expectation means kind of like a fixation, or have to be like that, have to be like that, has to be like this. So you don't do that because you have awareness and understanding and the impermanence, unpredictableness, everything. And then you still can plan with our limitation of vision. In our vision, we can do that. We can do that. Is nothing wrong have a vision and plan, even you're not 100% expecting, even better. Why? Because no expectation means that you have flexibility. Flexibility means you accept in any situation. So accepting any situation means you reduce your suffering. The suffering always comes from with expectation. And then it didn't meet according to your expectation, then we not accept. And so we have disappointment. But you already have no expectation. You have only vision. Can you do with vision and plan without expectation? You can.
Okay, so a direct follow-up question, Rinpoche. Is it wrong that I have hope that my partner cares about me?
Is it wrong?
Yes, because that's an expectation that I hope my partner cares about me.
Yes, actually is wrong. I mean, romance, you cannot have it, doesn't mean that romance. Why? Because there's million things already wrong. But then still we have expectation, oh, we do anything not wrong, everything's right. So that's why we say, oh, is this wrong? But that means I shouldn't do it? No. Wrong, and still you can do it. But if you can, no expectation better, right? So because if your partner cares about you, that's good for you. But if you hopes you care, he care about you, she care about you, hopes becomes even more than hope, like expect. Then if he or she doesn't care, then you are going to have disappointment. But from the beginning, if you don't have expectation, there is no room for disappointment. That means no room for suffering from that angle.
Rinpoche, the next question I'm going to read, we've actually had this question come up in a couple angles. So this person is asking, what can be done if one of their partners has a friendly relationship with someone of the opposite sex who they love and care for, but isn't having sex with, but then their partner becomes very jealous of this? And we've also had this question, what if I'm spending a lot of time with Sangha members of the opposite sex and my partner is concerned I'm having an affair or spending a lot of time, with others? So how do we deal with that in Vajrayana?
Two questions.
I'm just saying it's a very similar question. They're basically asking how to deal with jealousy from their partner when they spend a lot of time with somebody from the opposite sex. Nothing's happening with that person, but there's just the perception from their partner or the jealousy from their partner.
Yeah. Sutrayana way, you have to see jealousy has no consequence of happiness, only suffering. But also your jealousy is not fair, have jealousy because you jealous because somebody else enjoying, you have suffering. So that's why is you see some kind of ignorance. That's why you realize that and you just not have jealous. That is sutra in a way, whether you can or not. Okay. And then Tantra in a way, that doesn't mean Tantra in a way you cannot do anything in Sutra in a way if you can. What I said, you can, if that works for you, even you Tantra practicing, you still can. You can do that way, no problem. But if that not well works, jealous always there, some kind of feeling and energy there, then you have to use that energy as a courage. You turn as like courage, okay, this jealousy. Yeah? Courage means you may improve yourself rather than you stay sad. Instead, this jealousy leading you a sad and low feeling, instead you use that jealous, you improve many things. Before you cannot do things, now you can because you are jealous. So jealous should be when if you are fighting other people, is look like your army. Before you fighting by yourself, but now you have army. Okay? So that doesn't mean you fight with your partner or the partner spending the other person. No. Instead, this jealous feeling you use and you energize yourself. Before you cannot do things, you can do it now. Does that make sense? I hope.
I hope. I also think they're wondering if they're not the jealous person, but somebody is jealous, how they should react to their partner who's the partner who doesn't necessarily practice is experiencing the jealousy and
Okay.
of yeah.
React. You
yes,
react.
how do you deal with it? Yeah.
React. Explain to them what is the benefit for them. What I said.
For those of you who are having not the clearest internet picture, our internet is not the highest quality stream tonight, so that could be why you're experiencing that. It could be on your side or it could be ours. So Rinpoche, if I should not have any expectations in a relationship, why should I bother even building a relationship? Like, why should I bother even to have one if I don't expect anything?
Expectation, I said, when I say an expectation, I don't know what your expectation meaning for you, but for me, what I'm speaking about the expectation means you have ideas fixed on. You can have ideas without fixed on. I doing this all the time in my life. I have many ideas, many visions without expectation. So that means I prepare, or this is my plan. I would like, this is my wish. I would like to have good relationship and we do this together, blah, 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 blah. But if it doesn't work, I'm prepared already. I will accept. That means no expectation. Without expectation, you steady a plan. Steady you build in relationship. No expectation means, it doesn't mean, oh, definitely going to go wrong, this relationship. It doesn't, it's not like that. It's meaning if that goes wrong, okay, I will accept, means that.
Okay, Rinpoche, we had questions earlier about being celibate and having no relationships. Now the question is it beneficial to have an external companion or a partner on the tantric path for practice?
Depend how to you, depend who you are and where you at, how you use that relationship. Could be distraction, could be beneficial, could be anything. It's not black and white. Oh, if you are Tantrayana, you have to have a partner. It's not like that. Oh, if you are Tantrayana, you have to be celibate. No, it's not like that. If somebody say, is it beneficial to have a nuclear weapon? Depend who you are, what your knowledge, what you use for, what are your purpose. We can't say, yes, oh, 100% good. You can't say, oh, 100% bad.
Okay, you brought up dakinis and consorts earlier. So there's a couple questions related to that. The first question is, how would I even know if I'm ready to have a consort?
You know, when you are in the cave, if you need food, you're hungry, somebody gave you food, you know it's good for you to eat. That's your consort. And one level. Okay? The other level, if that kind of consort comes, you already know, and they already know. But you talking about how do you know I have need consort? It sounds like you, without knowing, you just guessing. You don't need guess consort. You only can have it when you need it and you know you need it.
Okay, a few more questions related to the being in the cave. There's a lot of concern from one person about if they're in the cave and something comes, like a dakini, how do they know if it's a dakini or a devil? How do they know it's good versus bad?
How do we know good or bad?
Yes, they're very concerned.
Oh. So it's depend practitioner. If you are a good practitioner, you knows in many ways, but at least you have some intuition. Okay? But if you are not good practitioner, but you pretending and then you stay at the cave, you very confused and maybe, and you scared and worry and like brain anxiety. So that means you should not go in the cave unless you are ready.
Okay, so last question related to the cave, Rinpoche. Does this mean that if I'm a really good practitioner in the future, like in the cave story you said, that I can imagine a protector and then the protector will come and manifest and protect me if I'm a really good practitioner?
Yes, because Dakin is that for the protected and great practitioners. You don't need prayer for them. They just know you need help and you are worth to protect.
Okay.
You don't need to go even in a cave. Anywhere you are, if you are a good practitioner, the Dharma protectors are protect you. But if you are not good practitioner, it doesn't matter how much you pray, Dharma protectors, they don't protect you because they know you are not worth to protect. You have only self-centered viciousness, nothing else.
Another question, Rinpoche, that gets emailed in from time to time is is it okay for me to fall in love with somebody in the Sangha or spiritual community?
Why not? I'm saying before, if you fall in love with Sangha, even better than, you fall in love with somebody not in Sangha, right? Because you have a little common ground, so then not conflicts with you. But you may thinking, oh, maybe I love, but in the future, then if I don't love anymore, then I don't want to see this person again. But then I have to see because the Sangha, if you consider that, you have to get over. You have to get over and you have to accept a different, accept the impermanent nature, and you have to accept that different changes, different appreciations of labor.
Okay, Rinpoche, the next question is, you gave us an explanation around love. So how do we apply this idea of love properly to each of the 3 jewels?
Each of 3 jewels?
Yes, the idea you shared around true love, like what would that be in regards to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha?
Yeah. Okay. If you can connect the profound love, every sentient being you have equally, you can have it, or you can try to connect with this in your meditation or any level. If you know how somehow you can connect, that is, are you connecting with your own Buddha nature? So that is the Buddha. But if you try in many angles to love everyone, even you annoy once, somebody annoys you, even this person, if you find a way, still love, not necessarily the love, any kind of love is okay. Better than nothing. Any kind of love, you connect. You may not connect all levels of love, but some can connect. If you this exercise, if you can do that, then is you connecting with Dharma, love connecting with Dharma. Then love with connecting with Sangha. Sangha means, okay, Sangha means your all spiritual companions. If you appreciate them more than your other relationship, that means you connect in love with Sangha. It's for you is more worthwhile than any other samsara relationships. If you naturally becomes like this, or you find a way to practice exercise this way, if you can, that means you connect in Sangha with love.
Seems like it's probably a good spot to stop on this evening's talk. It is getting quite late here in Australia for us. So thank you very much, Rinpoche.
Still many questions?
Not that many questions left. You wanted to go through any more?
Are they different?
A little bit, some of them. You
Okay,
want
you
to?
do. Yeah, you can say it. If no many, I answer quickly.
Okay, so another one is, what sustains love? How do we
Huh?
sustain, what sustains love?
Oh, how to stay in love is if you know many angles of love, then one is run of condition, the other level still connected. But if you only one angle of love, then it's very difficult to stand in. Okay?
Um, I think the other questions, Rinpoche, I wasn't going to ask, they're all more, oftentimes at events or empowerments, people will come up and they have asked on here as well for specific like sex techniques and this sort of thing, as a focus for Tantra, like if they should be doing this technique or shouldn't be doing that technique, or if they should lose drops, not lose drops, all this sort of idea. Don't know if
Okay.
that's something
Yeah.
you want to answer.
Yes. These questions always come up because that means you taken a black and white. Everything you take literal and black and white, but also you only stuck a very limited one specific area. Why you stuck there so much? Because you didn't know Dharma is infinite, infinite and limitless. So you didn't know is you can practice as much as you can. You didn't know that. So you thought I can do everything, but oh, this area bothers me, So that's why. So first condition, you have to understand that all this Dharma and empowerment, everything, giving me opportunity, any level of any degree as possible. Okay? Then how much I can do my best, which degree level. That you have to think of. Not stuck one specific idea. Okay? So that means that. And then okay, I can get a very big realization through the sex if I know some technique. That is wrong, 100% wrong. Why? Because you get incredible realization or these things, it come with many conditions come together and have to come. Not just one technique, okay? Because technique is only one condition. But if you have the other conditions ready, let's say 99 conditions ready, one is missing, then you know this technique. Yes, then you get incredible realization. Okay? Otherwise, no. You just only technique. Maybe you have some kind of different experience with this technique, but doesn't lead you any spiritual progress. Yeah. So that's why. Not the simple answer, not always fixed on one area. You just do everything best in your limitation. That is the best way to go. Always have good motivation, good courage, and very grateful. appreciative, always optimistic. That's it.